So just so that you know, I'm gonna play some jams while we welcome everyone in, and then yeah, we'll probably start 2 minutes after.
Perfect. No worries. I like good jams.
Yeah.
Started.
I've been trying to find some good intro songs for these sessions. So if you have
Sunday's
any
Best is a really good one.
Sunday best, okay.
Sunday Best, yeah. It's gosh, we were mountain biking and playing that song and everyone just loved it.
Sunday, okay, sweet. I'm gonna do that. That'll my next one. Actually, you know what? Let's see if we can do a
Let me
pump up
see.
jam.
I think it's called Sunday Best. Let's see here.
Sunday best, is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Play this.
Such a good one.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult to stand, but hold your balance. I just say whatever, cause there is no way you're bound. Everyone falls down sometimes, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay.
Hey Luke, do I have a quick minute to
It's okay. It's okay. Feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood.
Sorry, what's that?
No worries. I was asking, do I have just a quick minute?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll be
Cool.
Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Some days you wake up and nothing works, you feel surrounded. Gotta give your feet some gravity to get you grounded. Keep good things inside your ears just like the waves and sound it. And just say whatever, cause there is no way you're grounded. Everyone falls down sometimes, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Hey, feeling good, like I should. Walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
All right, everyone, welcome to our information session with Varo Money. We're excited to chat to you all, and Alyssa is here with me. She is a recruiter at Varo, and she's going to be giving us the inside scoop about how to get a job there, all of the secrets, tricks, and tips for what it's like to work at Varo, and how to set yourself up for success in the interview process. So if you're just joining us, go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. And what would be really helpful for us is if you tell us what department you're looking to work for or what types of roles you're interested in. That'll give us some good direction on how we talk about today. But while everyone is tuning in here, what's up, Tim? Good to have you in. And Timothy, looks like there's a meeting full of Tims. If you could go ahead and introduce yourself, Alyssa, tell us what you do at Varo and tell us how you landed a job there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been with Varo for about 5 months. So I had the opportunity to experience remote onboarding and not meeting anybody in person quite yet. It's been actually a fantastic experience. And with Varo, I'm a talent partner here in Salt Lake City. So we're actually headquartered in San Francisco, and then have operations here in Salt Lake. But more recently, we have actually expanded our technical teams here as well, which has been super exciting. So we'll be hiring a lot in tech, primarily in operations, and then some back-end type of jobs as well, like fraud, disputes, and that kind of stuff, because we are a bank. So a little bit about Varo, if you guys have heard of Varo. Yeah, so we originally started out as Varo Money. So we're the first fintech. And if you haven't heard of fintech before, because I remember back when I worked at a different tech company, someone was like, oh, fintech this, fintech that. And I'm like, what in the heck is fintech? It's financial technology is what it is. And so Varo being in that industry, we are the first fintech company to become a bank. This was a huge accomplishment. Many companies try to do this. Some popular names you might recognize is like SoFi or Robinhood. It takes an extremely a lot of work. There's a lot of grit behind the team that got us to this point. So we've been operating for about 5 years and have just recently became a bank in October. And you'll see more of this advertisement nationally in January, when a lot of the noise has calmed down from other things that have happened in 2020.
Wow, that's really cool. So, I mean, what originally got you interested in Varo, and how did you, I guess, take next steps to make it happen?
Yeah, so on the candidate side, it's actually the first time in a long time I've actually had to go through an interview without being poached, which can be a different experience.
Yeah.
And as many, I did go through a layoff during COVID. And luckily, being a recruiter, I poached from a lot of companies, and Varo Bank being one of them. And that just really means they had really good talent. So the previous fintech that I was at, I was trying to poach people to come to the company I was working at prior to Varo. And just knowing the quality and what Varo had built, I knew there was really good talent there. So I turned on my LinkedIn notifications. I was on every company I wanted to work for like a hawk. It's like sales position. It's like if you're in recruiting, you want to be able to sell the company. So after doing a lot of research, I realized the history Varo has. I actually did a lot of research on the history and how far they've come. In Varo itself, the mission is to help build the financial resilience of Americans one person at a time. And that's essentially through no fees of banking. We have a high yield on the savings. And then there's other products that we're building to help build like up the financial wealth. So for example, we're in Utah, so this makes a lot of sense. But Strava is like the place to go for mountain biking, right? You want to look at people's times, you want to beat people. We kind of want to be the wellness for the financial side. And that's essentially how Varo wants to become. So we'll have like a credit card builder. We'll have different products that'll help build your wealth up, whether that's like cutting your bills, helping you save more money, and just becoming more financially savvy. So anyways, now that I kind of went on that tangent, I'm going back to how I got a job here.
Really good information.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will say being a candidate, having to apply was tremendously scary. I was, being vulnerable for sure. I think in recruiting, we can lose touch of what it feels like to be a candidate for the first time and having those nerves. And recruiters don't even think of it like that. We're just like, hey, why do you want this job? What kind of research have you done? And you're just kind of on a roll. And so it really opened my eyes again to knowing, man, this is scary. And if I like stuttered, it made me nervous, or if I lost my train of thought, it's okay to be nervous. And I had a really strict routine actually every time before I interviewed. I went through 7 hours of interviewing. I would go for a run every morning. I would do yoga and meditate before I'd interview just to ease my nerves. But they're really thorough. And so doing my research to get into Varo made a huge difference. You would be surprised. And time again, I ask myself, I can't believe how many people don't research companies before they apply. and know the history, know the funding. Are we private? Are we public? That's huge. And so this is the first step, just being here and learning a little bit more about the company. And we are private, by the way. And so anyways, getting my foot in the door was really just understanding the research. And I actually became a customer of the product too, before I applied. That was huge, right? Like, why would I want to join a company that I have no clue what the product does? And I even called the customer service team to see how they handled my call, because I knew I'd be recruiting those kinds of people. So I actually had feedback for the team during the interview process. So getting a job in the tech industry, you really have to go above and beyond, especially when you're in those kind of situations. If you're laid off, you're not feeling very confident, you could be a fantastic candidate, but if you're not doing the research prior, that could be a huge misconception of your talent and skills.
Big time. If I was doing 7 hours of interviews, my schedule would be like 3 Red Bulls, then 3 mountains.
Yeah.
That's intense, but that's really cool. And I think all of the preparation that you did, it's good for the folks that are here on this call to hear this, because it's not just about, throwing your resume to the wind and hoping that somebody catches it. If you want to land a good job at a good company like Varo, you're going to need to do your research. You're going to need to do a step above the rest. And so it's cool. And so some of those ideas were really sweet. I've never heard of that before, calling up the customer service line and learning about like processes like this. Really awesome. So just to pause really quick, for those of you who are just joining right now, thank you so much for coming in. And I see, Ellie and Tim and everyone here. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell us what roles you're looking for. Varo is hiring for a number of different roles, which we'll get to in a minute. But go and tell us what roles you're looking for, so that we can talk to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
While we're doing that, I mean, it's been 5 months, so this is really cool since you landed a job at Varo. Tell us about the culture there and what your experience has been like so far. Has it matched up with kind of what you expected when you looked at the websites and did your research?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. It's really funny because there's nothing more that keeps people in HR up at night than, knowing how the culture will be during COVID. It freaks every company out right now. And I've been really surprised on the proactive approach Varo has taken during COVID to maintain the culture of the company. And one of that's just getting creative with like events. Like one time we did a comedy night, and they, invited the whole company to do just a little stress relief. They wanted to make sure that, the employees were happy. Everybody was still enjoying being at Varo, even during these like stressful times. So they wanted to bring light, which one of the biggest things is we always take care of our customers, but we can't take care of our customers if our employees are not being taken care of. And so one of the ways we've done that is, we did a really funny comedy night with some people out of the Bay, and it was hilarious. And then some other things that we do is we constantly do like kudo channels. So we're trying to, raise employees, just like awareness of different people and introducing people around the company virtually, which has been huge. And then the other thing too is we have really great benefits that help take care of our employees. So we just implemented a program called Better Health to help everybody have a personalized counselor. So the point I'm getting at is the culture is taking care of the employees, and they absolutely do, because that's how we take care of our customers. And the culture has been fantastic in terms of we're a startup. People sometimes want to say, I want to work for a startup, but don't necessarily understand the work that sometimes that goes into it. It takes grit. It takes, visionary kind of people, self-starters. You also need the executors as well. I'm not just saying you need one type of person, but we also look for culture ads. And so things that mean most to us, which I love, actually on our career site, if you were to go to any position, we have our values laid out, and we celebrate a person each week who basically lives by our values, which is customer first, taking ownership.
You can share your screen here real quick. Do you want to share it with everyone?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Let me pull this up here. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Oh, perfect. Okay, let me know if you can see this here.
Not yet.
Okay, 1 second. We're a Google company here, so we don't use Zoom as much. So my settings might not be ready for it. Let's see here.
Oh, you're good.
I work for a tech company. I should be getting this pretty fast, right?
Oh, you're good. I put you on the spot there. While she's putting
Okay.
it up, everyone, it looks like Eric's joined. What's up, Eric? Looking for a front-end developer role so that you can see this. We've got Alex looking for also open to developer roles, also often open to customer service roles, which it sounds like you're looking for both. Let's see, Tiffany in sales, project management, customer experience. And then we got Joe G, interested in software and analytics. Timothy, interested in HR. And let's see, Ellie, interested in a role in software development. And Summer Jean, what's up? Summer Pre-Jean, what's up? It looks like she has experience in ed tech. And as a customer success manager, and yeah, decided to chat.
Yeah, let me speak to some of those. Real quick, my settings don't want me to is not allowing me to share the screen without leaving the meeting. But what I will say is if you guys go to the actual, if you go to varo.com/careers, varomoney.com/careers, you'll be able to go to any job, and then our values are at the bottom. And they're fantastic. They totally fit a startup, which I love. There's a lot of companies that, you know, the whole point of values is to live and breathe by them. And the CEO totally does. I mean, with 500 people at our company, he has the respect. He puts customers, employees first. Like, he will go out of his way to talk to you, introduce himself, do a coffee chat with us. And he basically just like, ask me anything, you know, and he's really personable and funny. Typically we're, you know, talking to a CEO can be intimidating, but he's really personable. And that's really what I think has made him so successful is he gets on the ground level. Actually, all of our executives have been on a customer service phone call, and they absolutely think it's the hardest job. They made all of the executives do it so they understand what our customer service agents, you know, have to deal with in terms of people being upset with their money. But anyways, going back to the jobs itself. So we have two filters. We have San Francisco and Salt Lake City. Let me talk a little bit about, I know because I have worked in SaaS, this is not a SaaS company. So we are basically, so we are a bank. So we just became a bank. So being a bank, our structure is not sales and customer service. Our structure is customer service who handle all of our customers. So they take all incoming phone calls. And then we have a tech team. So we don't have like the setup of like sales and customer success. It's more going to be around like customer service, or you're going to go on the tech side, whether that's engineering, UX design, product management, project management. And so just to kind of give clarity there, because I know there can be confusion with like SaaS companies versus like banks.
Yeah.
So, and the kind of thing I wanted to share too is, I know in customer success, I have had people reach out regarding like team leader operations roles. They're great positions, but it's in the call center itself. So it is a little different, but you definitely have similar skill sets. If that's something that does interest you as like a team leader in operations, if you want to be on the ops side. Now in engineering, we do have let me see here. We do have quite a few here in Salt Lake. So senior front-end engineer. And when I say senior, we look for pretty senior. We run typically a little bit more slim. on headcount. So when we need to hire aggressively, we have that option to do so, because right now we're going through a customer migration. So everybody who was on the Varo Money app is now being moved to Varo Bank. And so we typically need more senior roles, but in the future we'll be open to hiring interns, which will be something cool to look out for in 2021, 2022. But we are hiring quite a few engineers. So mobile engineer, Android, iOS, front end, and just a general software engineer, full stack. Primarily my specialty is in like operations. So fraud, if you've had any kind of banking experience or fintech experience, ed tech is pretty interesting as well. Depending on kind of your experience, it could align well with Varo. And then, financial crimes is a really great one too. So we're doing a lot of hiring in fraud. So any type of experience in fraud or around that area disputes, we're looking to hire for that as well, anywhere from junior to senior roles.
Wow. This is incredible. Hiring across the board. And I don't know, maybe I missed this, but you are hiring customer success and client success, right, as well?
Say that one more time. I think the internet broke up a little bit.
Oh, sorry, I may have missed this, but you are hiring customer success and client success as well, right?
No, so we don't hire. So customer success and client success is more on the SaaS product side. Of like a company who's set up as a SaaS product. We're more set up as a bank customer service setup. So we don't necessarily have those type of positions, but if you want to be creative, customer success managers who've had management experience could be a really good fit in our team leader operations role, which you would manage about like 16 people who are taking inbound phone calls for our customers. It relates well, and you wouldn't go as a customer success manager, you probably wouldn't go search for that, but that is, similar skill sets. It's just a matter of, do you want to be in a call center or would you rather be more B2B versus B2C, is one of the biggest differences. And so customer success managers can go either way.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to get, are those positions that are actually in the call center, are they contracted or are they kind of full-time in-house for Varo?
Yeah, so they're all full-time in-house here in Salt Lake City, and we definitely are ramping up quite a bit. So I'm also a board member on the Recruiters of Utah. We just recently did a survey on seeing how has hiring been for the end of the year, and normally it's so dead. I mean, we're like trying to work on projects, do project management tasks, clean up pipeline, but everybody is so busy. So this is a great time to still look at our website, get a foot in, and don't be afraid. One thing I didn't mention that's kind of like more of a secret for recruiters, and I coach my friends all the time on this, is when you apply, I literally have 240 applicants that I have not talked to yet. I mean, just so many people have been applying, and I can't talk to everybody, but what I can do is I look at my LinkedIn and people will go to my LinkedIn and shoot me a message. If I don't reply right away, don't be afraid to send another one, or talk to another team member on like, and try and mix up the message, right? Try and be creative about the way you write recruiters. Some people get pinged a ton, some people don't get pinged at all. That's the only way sometimes I've talked to people when trying to interview. And same with people that I try and coach, if they're trying to get a job, I'm like, hey, you need to go message these 3 people. And it's a really easy search function in LinkedIn, but it's good and bad, right? It's really a employer's market right now. It's not necessarily a candidate's market. And so we have a lot of options, meaning you need to put a little bit more effort in to get your name out there. And that means having a good resume too.
So kind of walk us through end to end, and there are going to be a couple of things here, and we understand that, but After this question, for those of you who are online, we'll open it up for Q&A. And so let's get some of those questions rolling. But for if you were starting over, to like put this, you're 6 months ago, and you were looking to land a job at Varo. You don't have any connections at Varo, but you like the website. You've enjoyed this conversation. What would you start doing right now? What's the process that you would walk through to land a job at Varo? And not just like kind of general process, like going through the interview, but like what would you actually do, and what are some of the insider tips you would give to someone?
Yeah, I would definitely say know the product really well. And a great way is to call the customer service, open a bank account. It's a B2C. It's easy to do. You can get approved in 2 minutes, and then you can go in and look at all the product features and think of things that you would improve, right? Like I would even write a recruiter and say, hey, like I opened up a bank account. Here's like 5 things I love about it. Here's 2 things I'd even look at changing, to make me want to stay with you as a bank. Wow. Or even looking at competitors, like here's some things I love that this, company does. Have you guys thought of this? And so it's more interesting than just saying, hey, I'm interested in a job. Can you help me out? We get a lot of those. And so putting more effort in is huge. Another thing too, I've actually seen a candidate do that I thought was really impressive. They built like a product slide showing what kind of product feature they would add to the company. He was incredibly inexperienced, but he talked to some high up people in the company only because of the project he built. Wow. He didn't land a job, but he made amazing connections, and he also got a job at like another amazing company. And so, but now he has really solid people in his network. So that's just a side note. Like I've never seen somebody do that. So it was really impressive. And he did get an interview with one of the senior product managers, but that's just like a side note that you could do. Other than that, doing good research, go to Crunchbase, look at our most recent funding. Do your research on the comp, right? Like as recruiters, most of them anyway, will not ask you what you're making, but they do want an educated answer of what you want to make. Obviously everyone wants to make $1 million, but that's not what the position is probably going to pay. But have a general understanding of what you want to make and have an understanding of the product, have the research ready to go. And then I also would just do really creative messages on LinkedIn and trying to get some insight, trying to understand the board or the recent funding, or ask about the future of the product. Ask an intelligent question that pertains to your role itself. And you'll catch the eye of a lot of people, because we're looking for, the best talent to join Varo to take us to the next level in 2021. And then, yeah, so those are some helpful tips.
Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. And so I guess the question is, I mean, for those folks that are on right now, what's like an insider tip or something that's going on with Varo that maybe isn't out there in the public, but that you can share with folks here, so that when they're reaching out, they like have something that they can kind of use?
Yeah. I mean, really one of the biggest things is we just became a bank. A lot of people don't know that because we haven't advertised this really at all. So if you were to, and engaging in the company page is a huge way too, because you'll find out more information, and all the recent articles we post, it's on there, but just engaging with the page. But I mean, really insider news is that we have become a bank. We were the first fintech in history to become the first digital bank. So we're really driving this historic mark, which is amazing. So, talk about an article on that. What does that look like? What's the economic impact of more people having a bank and being, more financially set than ever, So those are problems we're working on at a larger scale. We care about people having bank accounts, but really Colin's passion, our CEO, is how do we make wealth more equal across America? Because it's very different as of right now. The rich are rich, the poor are poor, and then we have some people in the middle. And so we're wanting to build up people's financial wealth. And as we become a bank, that would be an interesting question. Now that you have you have the backing of a bank. What kind of products are you going to launch now that you have the national charter, which would be huge because a lot of people don't know that yet.
Wow, that's super cool. Tons of good information here for someone to use, and there's a lot of things that you can feel connected to there. So if you heard that, go ahead and use it in some of that outreach. We got a couple questions coming through. First of all, London, Connor, good to see you all here, and thank you all for writing a little bit about kind of what roles you're looking for. That gives us some good direction. Tiffany says, "Hi, Alyssa. You mentioned having a good resume. Can you please provide a few tips for what makes a resume stand out to you?"
Yes. Man, I'm a resume Nazi. Yeah. For one, have like a really good LinkedIn. That's huge. If hands down, 99% of recruiters will go look at your LinkedIn just to see what matches, just to see what you've accomplished, your connections. Do you have recommendations? That's really like a second resume. But for the paper resume itself, always making sure it's in PDF format. And then I love the structure, and I think it looks so smooth. If you were to put, your general responsibilities under the job title, and then adding a bulleted list of accomplishments. Not a lot of people do that, actually. I've seen very, very few people list, like, what are your actual day-to-day responsibilities? And then under that, what did you accomplish in that job? And try to use as many metrics as possible. That's a great way to at least get a jump start and ahead of other candidates, and just being consistent in your formatting as well. Sorry, my notifications are going off there. But just, yeah, and always putting your most relevant experience at the top. And I don't know why I've been seeing this, but I have seen resumes that have their most recent experience at the very bottom. Make sure it's at the top. Education should be at the bottom unless you're a recent grad. And, don't be afraid to add personal interest on there as well. Some recruiters like it, some don't. You could say that even for your LinkedIn. But that's always a good way to help connect. But if you're going to do any kind of personal interest, like hiking and biking, make sure it's at the bottom, because not everyone finds that tasteful. But some people do. Some people love it, but that's just a personal preference thing you can add.
Yeah, it's awesome. We got a question from Tim here. PDF versus Word documents versus other weird documents that are out there. What would you recommend?
PDF only. There should be no other excuse. Some people, if you don't have a PDF, some people will just throw your resume away. And the biggest part is, and I mean, there have been times where I just decline people because I don't have time to look at different formatting. One, it ruins the formatting. Two, recruiters can go in and change things on your resume. Three, it may not even open on the software. And if we have 200 applicants, if you think a recruiter is going to take the time to write you back, some will. I have done that, but I would say when I'm really busy, there are times that I just don't have time to write you back and tell you how to properly format a resume. It's just going to make sure it's clean and it doesn't change the formatting that you work so hard to build.
This is awesome. For everyone that's here, we've come to the end of our time. We've actually gone over, and we've got another session starting here in 8 minutes. And so we're going to let you go. But first of all, a huge thank you and a round of applause for your insider tips into what it's like to get a job at Varo. We appreciate you taking the time. And for everyone that came through, thank you so much for coming through and for all of the great questions and introducing who you are. We want to keep hearing from you. And so join us in the next session. From here, the next steps, I'll just, I didn't mention this in the last session, but this is good for everyone to know, is that Alyssa will have a list of everyone that attended this session, so that if there's anyone that's interesting to her, she can go and reach out to. And then if you want to reach out to Alyssa directly, you can actually do that through Mentorly. I believe she has an account now, and so you can request mentorship there. And then you can, I think, Alyssa, you posted your jobs on Mentorly as well, right?
I did. I posted quite a few.
And so if you want to apply to a job, you can link directly to those here. I'm trying to think where. If you just go down at the bottom of the screen, you should see a link to the job. So go ahead and connect over there. But thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, everyone. And we look forward to chatting to you soon. Bye.
Yes, thank you. And you guys got this. See ya.
Thanks.